Namaste. In life, we meet so many people right from the time of birth. We live with people only. Some of them are close to us, family members, some of them are just friends, and some of them are acquaintances. And with each one, we have a different kind of relationship, a different kind of equation. That is how life is. But if you think about it, some relationships move very smoothly, whereas some are not so. You have to really make a big effort to make that relationship work. This we have seen in everybody has seen in their lives. So why is it like that? Now let me give you some examples, particularly when you take the relationship of husband and wife, which is supposed to be the most important relationship or the closest relationship in life. There you find that the acceptance level is actually much lower than in any other relationships. Other relationships, very easily we say, okay, he's like that, but it's okay. But when it comes to the husband or the wife, one is not willing to accept like that easily. Let me give you two examples. I do a lot of counseling, so I meet a lot of people like this, particularly marriage counseling also. So this first example, there was this couple who were in love for 5 years and they could not get married because both their families did not agree, and both the families very clearly said, this will not work, you people will not get along well. But in spite of it, these people remained in love for 5 years. They kept meeting, and after 5 years, this lady, she was doing her studies when they started seeing each other. And in those 5-6 years time, she finished her studies, she got into a very good job and she started rising in her career. Whereas the male person, he was already working when they started seeing each other, and then he remained in his job, quite okay kind of job, average kind of income. Of course, he could definitely get married to her and take care of her, and even if they have children, he could manage that kind of income, but nothing great. Now this girl started really rising in her career, and it was at that time that both the families finally agreed, because these people were stubborn. They said, okay, let's conduct the marriage, and they got married. Now just within a month, this lady comes to me and for counseling, and she talks to me and she says, she told me all this background, and then she said, but I don't like this marriage, I want to come out of it, I'm not happy. I said, what do you mean? You were in love for 5 years and you took all the trouble to convince both your families, and he also waited for you, and then both of you got married, so how can you say you don't like him? She said, no, he's not the person I thought he would be. He's not what I expected him to be. This was her reply. And she mentioned very small things, like he doesn't fold his clothes, he doesn't keep this here, he doesn't close the toothpaste, he doesn't put the cover on the toothpaste, or so many things. And the way he eats, he makes a little noise when he eats. I don't like all that. So I said, then 5 years when you were in love, what were you doing? You should have understood each other. She said, no, 5 years it was totally different. What I saw in him was very different. He was a different person. But after marriage, from the very next day, I could see a completely different person in him. And so she said, I'm not happy. I don't want to live with him. So that was one example. And then there is another example I'll give you, where another married couple, this was not a counseling. I just happened to meet them and we were talking in a friend's house. So I was talking to them separately, and both started talking about their life, whether we are happy or not. Then the husband said, he was talking about his wife. So he said, no, she's actually a very nice girl. She's very nice. I can't say anything is wrong with her. She's like good in every way, a lot of common sense. Everything is fine, but something is lacking. Then I said, what is lacking? Then he said, no, there is something I'm not able to connect with her. It's not the way I connect with my sister. That's what he said. He has an elder sister. He said, somehow with my sister, that total, the way my heart opens, it's not opening with my wife. There is some restriction. I don't know what is wrong, but that's how I feel. And then I got an opportunity later on to talk to his wife. So then also we started talking about happiness and all that. And then she was talking about her husband. And she said, he's a very nice person, everything perfect in every way, whatever a woman could really ask for in a husband. But, somehow my connection with him is not complete. Then I said, why? She said, no, it's not the same as I feel with my father. With my father, I just melt when I think of my father. But that doesn't happen with my husband. He's okay, I love him, he loves me, we are living a good life, but something is lacking. So what is lacking? And I started thinking about this, about the first example and the second one also. What happens is people start expecting a lot from the spouse, which they do not expect from other people in their life. Now if you see, you would have heard many people saying this, that my father is an alcoholic, but he is such a loving father. So that alcoholism is just forgotten because he is such a loving father. Or somebody says, my brother is a very angry person, he gets very angry, but then he is the one who took care of us all through our life. So their shortcomings are forgotten when there is that connection and that deep love is there. I am talking about family members, but it can happen with a friend also. Sometimes you like a friend so much that all the friends, all the shortcomings there, you will simply forget. Yeah, he's bad. Yeah, he tells lies. Yeah, he doesn't do his work on time. Yes, he never comes on time. But still, he's a very nice person. Still, he's very close to my heart. This we can hear. Maybe we have also spoken like that. So what is happening here is, with some people, you feel such a big connection that the relationship seems to be, it seems to come from somewhere in the past. There is a familiarity with them. Whereas with other people, even though the relationship is good, there's nothing wrong, you cannot pinpoint anything, but somewhere it is not complete. So this is something which people are experiencing again and again with every other relationship. So what is actually going wrong here, or what is lacking here? Now, among all the relationships, the marital relationship, husband and wife relationship, is the one which is most revered, and people think this is the closest relationship, and that is where you really expect so much from the other person, from the spouse. And when those expectations are not fulfilled, then definitely the mind says, no, he's not like my father, or she's not like my sister, or he's not like my friend, or something like. There's a lot of comparison, and somewhere, even if there's no comparison, there is that feeling of, no, this is not all right, or this is not complete, and that is where many marriages crumble. Why? Because there is so much expectation from the other person. Every woman expects her husband to be her soul mate. You might have heard this word very often. Nowadays you hear it everywhere. So my husband should be my soul mate. And every man also seems to expect his wife to be a soulmate. I must find my soulmate. So what is a soulmate? We have heard about classmate. So if you have studied with somebody in the same class in the school, then even if you meet them after 10 years or 20 years, as I said in the beginning, there is a familiarity. Even though you may not have been meeting all those 10 years, and suddenly one day you meet, but still among all the people there in the crowd, this is the person who attracts you most. You feel very close to that person because of that familiarity. And even if you were not in the same class, even if you are in the same school but some other class, still if you meet after many years, then say, that is my schoolmate, and you become close. So similarly, it can be a colleague. Sometimes you would have worked with somebody for some time, and then you meet them after 20 years, after 15 years, or a long period. Suddenly there is that little, familiarity which comes in. And whatever shortcomings are there, you forget because you've known that person. So that is what happens when the relationship called soulmate comes into play. When we say soulmate, what do we really mean? What we mean is, just like a person from the same class is a classmate, or a person from the same school is a schoolmate, souls which have traveled together are soulmates. That is the meaning. Many people think soulmate is the spouse, or the soulmate should be the spouse, and I differ completely. It cannot be like that, because that relationship between a husband and wife is where a physical relationship also comes in. So the relationship takes on a totally different color. But every time the husband and wife need not be soulmates. It doesn't have to be like that. A soulmate is a soul with whom your soul has also been there, traveled together in some births sometime earlier. We may not understand when, we may not understand, or we may not remember when, but there is a familiarity. So in this life, when you meet a soul like that, with whom you have existed some time back, then there is that sense of familiarity, just like a classmate or a schoolmate. So that love, that affection comes without any conditions. You are willing to forget all the shortcomings and say, no, there's something nice about this person. I'm able to connect with this person. That is what we mean by a soulmate. And it does not have to be the husband or the wife. I have come across people where, so I was doing past life regression. I was doing it for my own study many years back. I did it for one lady who recalled one of her past lives very vividly. And the husband that she saw there, she said, is now the son in this life. She was able to recognize the eyes of that person. She said, the Maharaja whom I saw in that life, the husband, today he is my son here. And that is why she said, I'm crazy about my son. I don't know why. Every mother is crazy about her children, but she says, mine is something totally different. I'm so crazy about my son. Today I understand why it is like that. So you see, the relationship can change. In some other life he was a husband to her, and in this life the same soul has come as a son. You could have been a male, you could have been a female also. The soul doesn't have a gender. Gender is only for the physical body. So when we say soulmate, it is a soul which has traveled with us. And of course, if two soulmates can become life mates in this life, then there can be nothing better than that, because that would be the ideal kind of relationship. One would accept the other so easily, so nicely, without any reservation, and all shortcomings would be forgotten and the life would be so nice. But it doesn't happen all the time. And that is why I started this class called Soulmate, because there are two types of people. One, a person who is searching for his or her soulmate, who is trying to attract the right person in his life so that life will go on smoothly. If your spouse is one of your soulmates, then believe me, life becomes easier. But if that is not the case, then it takes much more effort to make the marriage work. That is why people look for their soulmates. So one type of people are people who are looking out for their soulmate, and the other type of people are who are already married and they want to make their marriage better. So they want to make their life partner their soulmate, or their life mate their soulmate, and they also want to be the best soulmate to their life mate. You understand? So one is where people are still looking to get married or to find the right person for the right partner. The other one is where they already have a partner, they already are married, and they want to make their life better. So I made this class in such a way that your vibrations have to increase to a great level. A high level of energy is required to create a complete change in the person's mind. So the participants undergo a process, a beautiful meditation, 2 meditations. In each meditation, the vibration goes to a much higher level. So whether you are looking out to attract a soulmate, or whether you are trying to make your existing married life a much better life, as it could be with a soulmate, it is the best thing for you is to attend this class and understand how to do it. Raise your vibrations to such an extent that if you wish to attract a soulmate, you will be able to attract. After all, everything is energy. And if you're already married and you want to make your life much better, that also can be done. You can bring changes in yourself. You can also bring changes in your spouse. Both are possible. The first thing is that you must be the best soulmate, instead of just looking out for the other person to change. So when it begins with you, it works in a better way. So in this class, you will learn how to do that, how to raise your vibrations to that extent, so that you can make your life much better. Life is a wonderful blessing. Life is a gift, and each one of us should enjoy life to the fullest possible extent. And particularly the relationship of husband and wife, the relationship of life partners, should really be something wonderful in this life, because the souls that we travel with today are going to be our soulmates tomorrow in the other lives to come. So whoever it is that you are looking out for, you will be able to attract them with the meditations taught in this class. So I'll see you there in the soulmate class.